Hi,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. It's nice to see you.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, nice to meet you, Sai.
Uh, I saw your website. You're a writer.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
you're a writer from United States.
Yes, I am a Mexican American writer. That's right. Hmm.
Okay. I felt very happy when I saw your website, and I'm going to talk with the person who is very good in explaining things.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm very thankful that you reached out to me. Thank you for having me.
Can you introduce yourself to my audience?
Yes, of course. So my name is Michelle Monarrez. I'm a Mexican American writer, and I was born in the border cities of El Paso and Ciudad Juarez, which is the border with United States and Mexico. Um, I write speculative fiction and magical realism books, and currently I am writing a story about immigrants, and I like writing about immigrant experience and the expatriate experience. I love books about social criticism, and I also work um, on. I'm also working on a 5 book saga right now. My debut novel is coming out this September.
Wow, that's great. That's great. So, how many books you have published?
I have not published any books yet. This is my first one, the one that's coming out in September.
Okay. So you said about social criticism, and you said that you write about the fictional stories.
Hmm. That's right. I like writing about social criticism through fiction because I think we can tell the truth through fictional settings.
So you observe things a lot. So in society there are a lot of systems comes under
Yes.
a lot of systems. So you observe all the systems.
Yeah, I like to call attention to how we treat our homeless people and our immigrants or refugees. That is one of the hardest things that I've gotten to see. Militarized states are also something that I like to write about because I got to experience that growing up in Mexico.
Why fictional? Why not real?
I like to write through fiction because I think that's a better way, or at least for me, it's a better way to compare fiction to reality. I am a harsh believer of saying the truth to fiction because that is a way that we can also think. So, if you tell people um, that reality is hard and they know that they are a little bit desensitized to that, right? So they don't get it as much. If you put it through a story, like on the back of their minds, they're start thinking like, huh, these two things look together. These two things look like something, and I don't like that. I don't like how this fictional character that I have an attachment to, I don't like their experience that they're having, and it calls me to do something about it. Or I identify with this experience and I want to do something about it. So that's why I like to write fiction.
Will you take the real characters in the society and put it in on your book? The same characters?
Uh, well, definitely. I think my characters, I've been told that they feel like real people because I like to take real people experiences. Starting with my own. I mean, all writers have a little bit of themselves in their characters, and I think I do as well.
Okay. How much time you took to write your book, which is releasing in September?
Oh, I think this book has been on the making for 5 years.
Oh my God.
So yeah, I've been writing for I think maybe 14 years now. But I didn't like really start thinking about actually publishing until 5 years ago. And it took a lot of time. I think it took a lot of time because it's also my first book, and I had to experience and experiment a lot of different methods of working.
Okay. What is your education?
My education, so I grew up in Mexico and I graduated all the way through high school in Mexico. And then I moved to the United States to learn English. I did not know English when I moved to the United States. And then from learning English, I went to Southern New Hampshire University. It's an online school. And I got my degree on creative writing with a concentration in fiction.
Okay, so 5 years back you decided to write a book and you completed it this year.
I'm sorry?
5 years before you decided to write a book and you completed in this year and you're releasing it.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
5 years before you decided to write a book and today and this year you are releasing it, right?
Yes, exactly. This year, I'm completing that book and continuing to work on the saga. I foresee 5 books in this saga, so I'm already working on the second one, and
Okay.
I hope it doesn't take another 5 years to get it together.
Oh my God. Oh my God. So
Yeah.
can I ask a question based on your based on the book based on the book that you are releasing the next month, the September? Can I
hmm
ask, or you want to put it secret?
How I want to what?
I mean, I'm asking you that can I ask questions based on which are connected with your book that is you're releasing this year, or you just want to keep it secret?
No, no, please go to my Instagram at Clover Trooper or my website, michellemonarrez.com. I do not want to keep it a secret. I definitely would like people to read it. Tell me what you think, give me feedback. It's coming on September 15th, and it'll be available to buy worldwide through Amazon and sites alike.
What is it about? What is it about?
So my book, it's called Refurbished, the Clover Initiative. It's a sci-fi superhero novel with a touch of political intrigue. It is X-Men meets the Resident Evil with a focus on secret government experiment that manufactures super soldiers. And this book mainly focuses on a dual journey of two young superpowered people who are immigrants, and they learn to deal with their superpowers in a new society, in a new country, and really in a society that has no place for them because they are meant to be kept a secret. Um, so if you like superpowers and you like political intrigue, this book is right for you.
Okay, why you selected the fictional characters?
Why did I select the fictional characters? Because I like to make to write a little bit of my own experience as an immigrant and to write a little bit of an experience of other Latin American people through a single person. So I basically created two characters. The protagonists of the story are called Alisa. She is a young um, immigrant from Europe, and Miguel. Miguel is a young refugee from Chile. I'm Mexican myself, but I wanted to write outside of my own Mexican experience to write about, a more wide refugee experience.
Okay, so what kind of books you read personally?
Personally, I like to read. Well, I love fiction. I really like to read anything that has intrigue and uh, things like that. But I also like to read books that are about personal growth and that are about coming of age stories, for example, finding oneself through redemption and finding self love through heartache. I really like books that are about that.
Okay, so what is your imagination? You want to live in reality,
My
or you just want to be?
I do like to live in reality. I mean, it would be great if I could live in fiction, but sadly, we live
you
in the
you
world that we
discuss
live in.
You disconnect with reality when you're writing a fictional story.
You know, I'm not the person that thinks that fiction is a way to escape reality. I think it's more a way that we can understand it and better cope with it. Reality is really harsh right now, and reality tends to be really harsh in my books as well, because I think it mirrors whatever is happening in the world right now.
So you observe the systems and what is happening in the system and how people are doing and what the mechanism in the system. You will observe and you will try to explain that in using fictional characters. That is what your story is, right?
Yes, that's exactly right.
Awesome. Okay. So you took 5 years to explain this.
Yes, I did. It took a long time because, first of all, I didn't know what I was doing when I started. And I had to learn a lot of different methods and a lot of different techniques of writing. And I experimented a lot. The story changed into so many different drafts until it became what it is today. And I'm really excited for people to read it and maybe get something out of it, get some positive message out of it.
But the systems and the government, the policies, everything is changing. You know, when you day by day, the time is
Hmm.
changing and the thinking is changing. And
Yes.
how have you put all your experience, or you imagine what happens in coming days based on the experience that you have?
Yeah. So it's really, I mean, I don't want to say that it's funny, but it's interesting how that happened. I started writing my book thinking of a society far later than ours, right? And how certain things would go from bad to worse, right? Especially for immigrants, especially for people trying to come into the U.S. and trying to get a citizenship and trying to just immigrate anywhere. How would it be if those things were to happen? And I started writing about separation of families, because in my imagination, I thought this is one of the worst things that could happen to people, and it's of course not going to happen right now. It's 5-6 years ago when I first started imagining the story, and then these things started happening in reality. It started happening that people started getting separated from the families in the border. Children were being put in cages in the border, and it's awful, you know. And then I also write about the government trying to silence people and the media and things like that, because I got to live that, how the media got twisted around and nobody was saying anything and nobody knew what was going on. And people didn't want to watch the news anymore because nobody knew what was actually happening. And then that actually started happening again in the US, right now, with the riots and with fake news and all of those things. So as awful as it sounds, I started writing about a society that will be worse than the ones that we have today, and these things started happening and getting worse. And it it's just it's what it is, I guess.
From whose perspective you are, I mean, writing a story? From the person who comes to a particular country, you are writing his perspective, or you're writing the book in a government's perspective, or you are just watching it from the top view, just watching everybody,
uh,
all the systems, and writing like a top viewer?
I'm writing it from his perspective. It's called third person deep POV, which means you are reading as if you were that person, as if you were a third person looking behind this character and what he's going through. So imagine like you're a camera just following around this character and seeing what they're doing and experiencing.
You support that character.
The what?
You support the character. If you're a camera, you're supporting that character.
Exactly. Yeah, you're like the audience behind the character and you're rooting for them and hoping that they can make it to the end of the book.
So you'll be against the government.
Exactly. Against the gunman.
And you'll be against the people who are against that character.
Yeah, Well, I don't know if you would be against a 13-year-old boy that's trying to make it in the U.S. alone. I I hope you won't be against that character, and that you would be rooting for him.
Okay. Can I say that character is you?
He is me in some aspects when I was young and scared of some things and dreamt of having superpowers because it made me feel safe.
What do you feel after writing that book?
Oh man, um, I felt that there's a lot of emotions that I felt after writing that book. It was really hard for a time writing about my experience and thinking about my people and other Latin American people. It just made me sad that this is a reality that a lot of people had, and I recognized that I was incredibly privileged to have had the ability to come to the US in times of strife, and that I was able to find new opportunities. There's so many other people that are not so lucky, um, and it just makes me sad. And I really felt that I wish I could, you know, change it somehow. It also gives me hope. Finishing this book, it also gives me hope because um, it means that there's people out there that are willing to take risks and that are willing to um, fight for their people and for what's right, and not just for what's legal or not just for what's intended or acceptable by society.
So, what if you are a system ruler? What if you are a head of the system? What if government is you? What will you take decisions on the people who are coming to your state?
Man, man, if I was a ruler, I mean, I think I would need a lot of help because there's no perfect government, man. There's no, uh, everything looks great on paper when you read about governmental systems. If I was a ruler, I think I would just ask for a lot of help and a lot of guidance. And I think I don't think I will be a perfect ruler by any means. But if we listen to the people that were ruling and we try to take their experiences in mind and we try to learn and try to say there's different ways to solve a problem, and I don't have by any means the absolute truth about how to solve a problem. That's what I would probably do, um, so that we can find a solution together, really.
So, you'll be facing a lot of criticism. You'll be facing a lot of negative comments. How do you handle that if you're a government, if you're a ruler?
um, I think I would try to listen to feedback. It's there's no way of keeping everybody happy. There's always someone that's not gonna like it, or someone that's gonna have different ideas. But I am from the firm belief of people are free to do what they want to do until that those actions that you're taking start affecting somebody else. That's where your freedom ends. Your freedom should be for yourself and how that affects you. You should not do anything else that affects anybody else. That's where your freedom stops. You know,
Okay.
um, that's that's I think how I would handle that criticism, just keeping that mindset of how am I affecting other people and trying to pass that message on.
What do you say about this? A lot of countries, different countries have different lands have different rules, different laws, and
Yes.
when a country person wants to enter into other country, they have to follow the rules. They have to know the rules, and it will be very strict if they wants to live in that country. So, what do you say about this? Do human beings have rights to live anywhere on this planet, or they should follow the rules of that particular country if they wanted to live?
I would like to say that there's a line on the land is not something concrete. It's something that we have made it concrete. So those laws and those rules that are so harsh for people to be able to come to another country, they can be changed and updated, because when they were made, it was a long time ago. The world was different. The world that we live in is very different today, and we should look at those laws and update them, because at the end of the day, we're the ones that are making those rules. The land is not built like that, and people, in a perfect world, I think people should live wherever they find opportunity and wherever they can be happy.
If I know a lot of authors, I did videos with. I took interviews of different authors who wrote books on. One author yesterday, I did a video with the author. He was his mother died when he was celebrating his first birthday, I think. So he said
Oh,
that he imagined his mother, and now he's 40, I think. Now he wrote about a book, uh, about just imagining what her mother would do if she was alive, and a lot of things. And he dedicated that book to his mother. Uh,
no.
yeah, like that. Other person wrote another book. Rex Sykes is one of the author. I took an interview of him. He wrote a book on everything that is happening in the society, and he's more about individuality, about building confidence, and being against the suicidal thoughts. And he told about a lot of things, and like this, all those are okay, good, because it will not take so much time. And compared to you, because you took a subject, social criticism, the social structure, you have to observe a lot of things. It is not a small task. You have, 5 years, you said. I think 5 years is very less. I believe that 5 years is very, very less, because you won't understand even after 5 years, because there are a lot of things which should be updated and which should be changed and which are outdated. At the same time, which are not possible. We have to think a lot of things. I don't know how much mind you put on your book. I just wanted to read it whenever it comes out.
Thank you.
I
I
love
appreciate
knowing
that.
about I love knowing about a lot of things in the society, and I want to know how you wrote. I want to know your perspective. I mean, the camera perspective.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, it's um, I wish that, as you say, the changes in the book that I made to reflect what actually society is going through right now would have been positive. They certainly weren't. And I hope that in another 5 years I can write a book that's a little bit less dark, and it's happier, because we'll be living happier times. But yeah.
What is the response that you are expecting for your thoughts, for your 5 years thoughts?
I hope that I can reflect in 5 years, that I can reflect in these times of strife and social distancing and global strife, and see them as a thing of the past, and as a thing of, we as a human race were able to rise above the challenge, and we helped each other, and it was beautiful. That's what I hope to look back into from 5 years to today. That's what I would like to see back. So I guess that means that we only have to continue to work as a society and try to continue to help each other. When this global pandemic started and we saw that all countries were affected by it, there was a moment where it looked like we were all going to work together. And I think that we should continue with that sentiment.
So when you're writing a book, you'll be disconnecting from the world, the reality, right? Since it is a
Yes,
fictional story, you'll be living in your own world.
in a way, yes.
So what is your world?
Yeah. My world is a place where people are scared, and they push beyond that fear. They don't try to live safe, they try to live free, and they fight for what they think is right. They try to do the best thing that they can and hope at the end of the day they have taken the right decision. That's and of course it's a world where people try to understand others and see beyond their differences, see beyond the color of their skin, the place where they were born, their names, their accents, their last names, and all of that.
So you'll be observing everything which is happening in the society. Can I call you as a top viewer or a side
Yes,
viewer?
yes, of course. Um, what side am I on?
I mean, in which
I,
perspective you will see.
I mean, I believe I'm a liberal, strongly liberal, because I like the idea of people helping each other, and that's a very liberal thought. I am pro abortion. I'm pro queer culture and depenalizing a lot of the queer community and abortion ideas. So I am a strong liberal.
Are you a serious person?
I am a serious person, but I'm also a fun person.
So what do you do other than writing books?
Other than writing books, I like to bake. I got into the whole sourdough baking community when all this started. I love playing video games. It's something that relaxes me. I love hanging out with family and friends. Right now, I'm just with my husband. We are not able to travel back to Mexico to see our families, but that's mostly what I do when I'm not writing. I'm visiting and traveling to Mexico every time that I can.
So do you believe that you can attack people, you can attack society, you can attack thoughts which are already there in the society with the book that you have?
I'm not sure it's much of an attack. I really just want to call attention to its problems. I believe that I can. I mean, if I can get through one person, if I can get through them and say the way that we're doing things right now, it's not right, and we should try to change it, then my job is done. I've done something good.
Okay. Who should read your book?
Who should read my book? Anybody that likes fiction, superpowers, anybody that has an interest on coming of age stories and growing up, and anybody that has ever been afraid and wants to push from that fear. That's who I think should read my book.
Why superficial things?
Superficial?
Yeah. You're creating characters which are not there in the society. You're just taking the inspiration and you're creating a character which is not there in the society. And you're telling a message. You're giving your message. You're telling uh, your point of view using that character. Why only the character which is not there in the society? Why not you take the character? Because the people will connect with the real character if you take it and if you explain about it. But you are creating a character which is not existed. So do you think that people will connect with the with your imagination?
Oh,
And
definitely.
I want to know whether you will care the responses that you get for the your writings, because if you care,
Yeah.
they will talk about your imagination.
Yes, I think so. I mean, we do that every day. We watch TV shows and we identify with a character and we like them, right? So we want to, it's not that we want to live their lives, it's we want to see them succeed because there's something inside us that identifies with that character, or it's like when you meet a person in real life and you like them and you identify with them and you want to help them, you want them to succeed, you want to be their friends. We do that every single day, right? So I definitely think that people can identify with characters that feel real, with characters that have a human capacity, right? So these characters are not static. The important thing is that they grow as the story moves along, like we do. We were different people 5 years ago, 10 years ago. And I think that that's how people can relate to these characters, because we've all been scared of stuff. We've all been sad. We all feel pain, and we all have had to move somewhere else, and we miss our people, for example. So yeah, I definitely think that people can identify with my characters.
Do you have anything to say to my audience?
Yes, I think that what you're doing here is really great. I think that people should keep watching your channel. I did take a moment to watch some of your videos and your interviews. And I don't know, bringing all of these ideas and all of these people together in a single channel, I think that people should continue to watch it, especially right now that we are socially distancing and that we need to stay home. This is a great way to travel because you get to see other people from other places in the world.
Yeah. And your message about your what you experience. I mean, your books. Do you have any message that you wanted to say?
Yes, I guess the book is coming out on September 15th, and if you're interested, you can find me on Instagram as Clover Trooper or on my website, michelmonarrez.com. And I hope that you will think about it, that you would buy it, read it, leave me a comment, tell me what you think, tell me if I'm crazy, if you agree or disagree with my view.
Definitely. Once your book is published, I want you to send your book link so that I'll put
Of course.
the link in the description of this video on my YouTube channel. Okay.
Okay, thank you. I will do that. I appreciate it.
Because I love reading books which are connected with the societal rules and what is happening in the society about the systems and the people's reactions and laws. I love knowing it, and I love to share your thoughts through my medium. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. I would definitely do that. And I really appreciate your time today. It was a great conversation, the one that we just had.
Thank you. Because 5 years you put your time on writing a single book. I mean, 5 years is not a small time. 365 into 5.
Yes, it is. And I hope that I will start writing faster so that I don't have to spend so much time on it. I feel like for book two, I'm more prepared and it'll be shorter, I promise.
Okay. I mean, while writing, do you think that I'm going to complete this book at particular time or particular day? Do you think like that, or you just write? You just keep writing.
I just keep writing because if I put a deadline over my head, I try to have a regular deadline, like a general idea of like, oh, in a year I'll be ready to publish it, or I'll be ready to send it to an editor. But I can't put a physical date because that creates too much anxiety for me. Yeah, so
Okay.
I need a little bit of flexibility.
Okay. I want you to be successful. I want your thoughts to reach more people uh,
Thank
uh,
you.
all over the world. I want you to reach, and yeah, because you're putting a lot of your time, energy,
Thank
physical,
you.
mental energies. Yeah. Thank you so much again, and giving your valuable
Yes,
time
of
to
course,
me.
of course, of course. Thank you for your valuable time.
Thank you. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel with your permission?
Of course. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Take care.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye. Bye.